Hello and welcome back to I don't even want to say the fucking name anymore. There's 20 puzzles left. That's all we've got. 20 out of the 1200 plus in this game. Just I in awe at the delusion required to make a game like this. So let's just see what we got. Let me just pour through some more of the sixes. Make sure those are done, right? Those should be good. Precision, mingle shape, polyomino. Love those rules. Let's get it going. I know. Okay, we got S shape there. Are these all fives? Oh yeah, of course they are. You stupid, dumb. You just said. Okay. I looked over there and then I forgot. I was looking at these are all fives or some of them fours. They can't be fours because it's all precision. We don't have Oh, we also have so many cells on the board. We couldn't have the mismatch rule, so we gotta definitely have doubles. So I just have to make sure they're not next to each other. So these are all one thing. We've definitely got this. So is there anything preventing that? There is not. In fact, I'm pretty sure that's what's gonna happen. Got that. Got another one of these and another one of these. Okay, got that on the corner. Got this in the corner. That. Alright, I'm just in my head thinking like how I'm going to fit some of these shapes in. Got that. Okay. Another set here. Oh, that there. Alright. Where do I start? So these cross shapes, this one can move to the right, and it can move, interesting, and it can move down. But either way, it's going to take, this one's going to take that space, and this one's going to take that space for the same, I thought I saw a graphical glitch. These two are going to be the same piece for the same reason, which means this guy's going to do what? There's a lot of options for this one. This guy doesn't have a lot of options. It's gonna be this L piece can be the corner. Yeah, of the 5 pieces this can be, this L can be an end piece here, or it can be the corner piece. Those are the options. So if it's the corner piece, it is this always. If it's the end piece, it can go these ways or these ways, which frankly means I cannot guarantee a single piece here. Maybe this is a place to go. I can connect these two, but it's not required because I can do that, right? Or even something like this, whatever. Oh, let's start over here with the obvious. Duh. I wasn't even looking over here. This is set. This piece must be here. So now this T piece must go out this far. Because if it doesn't, if it stops here, how on earth would I do this? So it goes out this far. So it can take these 2 pieces, or it could be up, or it could be down. But it must take these 3. Might as well do all that. This piece here. Is there any universe? Okay, if I did this, we'd be busted. That's not going to work because I got this orphan cell here. If I took these, this piece then would have to be here. I don't see any other way out of that. If we took this, I mean, I have a couple ways out of this. Mingle shape. I couldn't do this because I'd put 2 next to each other. Maybe I should be thinking of the mingle shape? It hasn't really come up yet in a way that's helpful. Like, yeah, I can't do that and this because of mingle shape, but I'm not in a position where I'm tempted to make that decision. I'm just looking at some options. This piece here, once again, like drawing dots in there, we can be any of the edges on the top of the T, or we could be the edge here, but we can't be this piece or that one. Yeah, we can only be a corner piece or a dead end piece. I guess I could say it that way. So that means we can do this. got a lot of options here. We can also move up this way. If I moved up this way all the way, I think we're in trouble. Because I know this one has to go out. Because now I got to figure out the shape in here. Yeah, I don't think I can move this all the way up. Because how do I make this shape here? For instance, this shape, I'm never going to fill these in. This shape will have the same problem. If I start doing something like this, I have a problem here. I'm pretty sure I can't do it. That's obviously wrong. This doesn't help. I think... I'm just trying to make absolutely sure, but I'm pretty sure I can't do this. Because there's 7 here. I've got to fill... 4 of them will be filled with that. That'll leave 3 left over. And I can get 3 pieces in by doing something like this, but that's obviously wrong. Yeah, I don't think that'll work. So I think that this is the case. And so we can make these pieces or that or that. This might even work. If I did this, though, if I block this off, then whatever I do here makes 2 P's, and I can't do that. So I think I've got to block that off as well. This is workable, and that's workable. Actually, this down here is going to break the P shape, so I can't do that. So I've got to make this the shape. This feels logical, but I also feel like maybe I'm just not smart enough to know this. Maybe this isn't right. But this might be it. But now how do I make this piece work? I mean, it's going to be one of these things. It's not going to go that way. Yeah, so anywhere from here to here, that's... Oh, it's not that, because it's going to touch another one without being that, so it means I must take this space. If I don't take this space to the right of this W, oops, that means I either break it that way or that way. So I got to take that space. That's all I know, which means this has to go down. This has to go out this way, which means this has to go up. Great. That's that. That's this. Okay, that all fits really well. So maybe that's right. There's been a couple puzzles where something fits really well and then ends up being the wrong answer, but most of the time, if you find something that fits really well, you're on the right path. So we'll lock this stuff in, because if I'm wrong, I got to restart the whole puzzle anyway. So lock in. I just shift click. What am I doing? This can't move up. It's got to move down, and these are in fact the same piece. Great. Now this guy, this piece here, is either part of the line of 4 or it's the nub. If it's the nub, I think this is a possible way. Like, you can do one of these things, or it can be nubbed like that. If it's part of the line of 4, though, it must go this way, because it can't go down, and either way is going to be the end of that. So it is, in fact, the nub. And that doesn't help me, because I don't know. It means that this is part of the piece. There's no way it isn't, because either we got one of these things, or we've got something here, and it's going to touch that spot. So it's got to touch that. That means whatever's here can't be that, and it must be that one as well. It's not really helpful. This S is complete. I think this is now the Y. But now, no, it's a mingle shape violation. So this would be the Y. We can make a P shape in there. Can I make this the Y? No. Yes, I can put a P shape in there. I think so. These two are definitely the same. And then I can't make this, so it's got to be. So these 4 for sure, which means this is not it, and it must take that space and that space. Yeah, we've got a P shape here. All right. I've got a couple options for this F piece. This now has got to come out and not move. It's got to move up. That's really what we got. So we've got to move up here. It's got to be that way. Right? And then in here, we've got to have another F shape. I'm going to turn them all the same color today. I'm going to make that slightly different. I think this is it, right? We're going to have, I'm trying to do a color that isn't being seen next to each other. Like, I have that clash of I don't want 2 of the same color next to each other, because I want to make the mingle shape more apparent by having different shapes be different colors. but there are 12 types of pentomino, and there are 8 colors. So I'm like, okay, how do I... So this is teal, because this one's about to be this color here. So let's make this yellow, which is going to be this shape. That's the only thing, because this is a mingle shape violation. So this right here has got to be there. So this is probably going to be this. It could also do that. But let's hold on, because we got to make that shape work. Yeah, so this ain't going to work. We got to bring that up. So we definitely have that. We definitely have this. So we have another one of these. That breaks the puzzle pretty badly. Unless I do it like this. Yeah. Then that works. So over here we've got another N shape. This has to be there. We got an I shape. Got to bring this in like so. And whatever. I'm gonna finish the puzzle anyway. It's done. Yeah, that's a pretty good one. Yeah. I think this one follows the best possible pattern for puzzles. And unfortunately, a very small percentage of puzzles in this game work this way, which is, it is difficult. However, the first move is not difficult. The first move isn't easy, but the first move is not crazy hard. So let me give you an example. This one is just going to come to my mind every time. This is a bad puzzle. And the reason it's bad is not because it doesn't have one solution and it's not some logical path to get there. I bet there is. I bet there's a bunch of whiny nerds who hated how I treated this puzzle when I played it, who are insisting that this was a good puzzle. And I'm telling you no, because it starts without your good move. So you spend all your time guessing at the beginning, right? You want to be able to jump in. The first move here wasn't necessarily forced, like, oh, it's easy. But finding the first move wasn't crazy hard. Actually, the first move was this, which was kind of easy. Great. The puzzle was still very difficult, still required a lot. Early in the puzzle were a lot of difficult moves, as I had to figure out how the puzzle worked, get that aha moment. However, once I had the aha moment, the puzzle was a cakewalk to the end, and that's what you want. You want that to happen. Once you have the aha moment, you don't want the player to wait any longer. Finish the puzzle. This worked out really well for me in that way. Let's get some more 6s. There's got to be some. Here we go. Precision 32 with Palisades. Nah, it's not my favorite combination of rules, but it won't be terrible. Yeah, we're going to have 2 regions. 2 regions, alright. Well, let me find a spot where I know I've got to put a break. So I've got straightaways here with dead ends. So if I do this, does it break the dead end in any way? So if the dead end goes up, this is totally fine. If the dead end moves sideways, this is fine. So that doesn't break it. Now if I move the straightaway in to the dead end, then I definitely have a bit of this going on. That doesn't help either. Okay, where can I start? So this is what I'm not immediately going to panic here just because I don't immediately see the first move. It's okay if it's not immediate. I don't want to do that, but it's just if it turns out to be nothing. Like this looks like it's hard to find the first move, but it looks like there is one. At least from first looking at it, it looks like there's a way to get that first move, but I just don't know what it is. So if I try this one out, this is going to move up. That is for sure. And that's there. That doesn't seem to help. Something about the straightaways next to dead ends has got to be important. Maybe this piece here. Now, if the dead end goes this way, we've got to take these, which is all fine. But if the dead end moves sideways, we're still fine. Yeah. Now, I could press this further. I could say, what if I did this, and then this, and this would happen, and then, like, if I go this way, does it work? But at that point, that's just guessing. That's just what guessing is. It's fine to say, like, okay, let me try a thing, see what that does with the puzzle. But if I'm just going through until there's a break for a long time, that's just guessing. And the game has been rather smarmy about not being a guessing game. All the puzzles are logically solved, you say. Sure. Now, if I go this way, then I would be forced here. Which isn't immediately breaking the puzzle. Like, this straightaway, if I took that, again, we're not broken. But if we didn't take it, what do we do? Well, if we didn't take it, we'd have this going on, and then it would just be the same thing as before, which doesn't help. Yeah, it could be one of those puzzles where you kind of have to see the whole solution at once. Sometimes that happens where the puzzle's so advanced that the only way to logically work out the solution is to figure out a logical piece that gives you a huge chunk of the puzzle. I don't think that's good puzzle design, but that can happen sometimes. To where if you try to do it the way I'm doing it, which is to find a logical break-in, then you will end up guessing. Because so far I've just been guessing spots to look at. Now, two corners together is interesting because it means if I split them, this is what we've got going on, but the stuff around it doesn't seem to say anything. Yeah, I just end up feeling like in this weird paradoxical state where I've done a billion of every type of puzzle, so they're overdone, and yet there's sometimes I enter a puzzle and still feel like I haven't learned the thing I need to learn. Because like I look at this and go, maybe an earlier puzzle in the game taught a principle that I would use here. But this game has been really, really terrible about like the connectivity. Like its individual puzzles on their own are generally fine. There's about 200 of them that aren't at minimum, which is a huge amount, but they're generally puzzles that work. They're fine, they follow a logic. But when you put them all together into the game, the order is all over the place, and there's no momentum. There's no way for me to know like the order I should be taking them. And so if there is a principle to learn to use in a later puzzle, the game doesn't teach it. The only thing it teaches is the very basics. Every area I go to has 4 or 5 puzzles, usually of difficulty 1, that give you the basics of what the new rule means. But that's as far as it goes. The actual principles to learn are so scattered around that unless I've come into the game with prerequisite knowledge, like I did with Tetrominoes, I'm not going to learn them by playing the game. And so I look at this and go, maybe if I was just a little bit smarter, I would have played some Palisade or Precision Rule, whatever, and I would have figured out something about this pattern of Palisades that would give me a place to look to break into the puzzle. But unfortunately, I don't see that. So I just feel like, did I miss something that I was supposed to learn? And if so, there is really no way for me to check because Palisade puzzles are scattered all throughout the map. The Palisade section is nice, but it's not going to contain a puzzle like this necessarily, and I'm not going to search through 60 puzzles to hopefully find one that works, right? And so there could be that. Or maybe it's not. Maybe I'm just gassing up for no reason, and there isn't. There isn't a special principle I was supposed to learn. I'm just supposed to figure it out here, in which case I feel like, despite doing 60,000 of these puzzles, I still don't know what I'm looking at, and that's just a weird feeling to me, that I can do a 1200 puzzle game and still feel like it hasn't prepared me for this. You know what I mean? Right? Like, if this was if these devs said, we're not going to make a game, we just have this puzzle type, we're going to go to penpud.com, and we're going to give these puzzles to some big puzzle bros, like Cracking the Cryptic or whatever, and they'll solve it. It's different because it's this one-off situation. There's different expectations for that, but the game, we expect these to be connected, and this doesn't feel connected in some way. It's not a bad puzzle yet. It's not like that's the case. It's just I feel like, okay, I'm staring at a wall, and the options seem to be... It seems to be I'm guessing at everything. So, what about this corner? If this corner goes into the dead end, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't matter. It just does something like this. There's probably also the negative space that I should be thinking about. Like if I put a corner and everybody bring it down here, for instance, I would know that this would be the other color. And it would have to go somewhere. But like it can go a lot of places. It can go this way, but it could also go this way. Yeah, if it turns out that the way to solve this puzzle, the correct way, is to sort of guess a little thing and then take 25 steps forward until, oh, we can't do that guess because then it would lead to a precision break or a palisade break, that's not good. I shouldn't look 25 steps ahead. Generally with puzzles, if people need to look ahead a few moves, it needs to be something a person could reasonably hold in their head, right? 3, 4 moves at the most is what you need to be able to see. So it can't be that. So it's got to be something else. This dead end itself, if this didn't go, if we didn't go into the dead end, we'd have to go up. Which would mean what? We could go left because we could take these spaces. If we go right, then both of these would have to be yellow and come down, right? This is something, right? This little guess here. I wouldn't call this solving the puzzle by guessing. I'm taking a look at this, trying to figure something out about it, make a logical inference. But since I didn't get one, right? So if I put a wall here, I can do this. I can make the corner go this direction, right? But from here, I have a lot of options. So I would have to make a second guess on top of the first one to figure out if this works, right? And so if I made a second guess and that second guess turned out to be wrong, it doesn't tell me whether my first guess was right. It only tells me the first guess needs a different second guess. And that's not good. You don't want that when you're designing puzzles. So the other way around is this, which would force a wall here, which forces this. So we could still have that. But that would have to come out now. And then it would also have to come down, because if it goes here, that's the end of that. So it's got to go around here. And actually, it has to be this piece. And so it would have to do this. So this guess here has given me more pieces, but it still hasn't given me a direct answer to whether I'm right or wrong. It's just, this is how it would go. It's actually giving me a lot more, so I like kind of looking at this. But if I have to do half the puzzle before I realize this guess is wrong, that's solving the puzzle by guessing. That's not logic anymore. So then here, I can't, if I did this setup here, I would not be able to do this straight away. Because then I can't move here, I can't move sideways here, I can't move left, and then right is a dead end. We would have a piece that's only 4. So this would have to be a yellow piece. This one has to be blue, so we know now that yellow goes this way, right? And then blue is a dead end. See, this is what I want. This is only a few steps out, starting with this piece, a few steps out. However, it's still not quite good enough. Right? So I'm going to walk through that again, because I started with the assumption, like, what if we did this? Would this break the puzzle? Can I do anything with this? Well, whatever color this is has to move upward, because it's got to bend either that way or that way. Now there's 2 options. So in other words, there's a guess to be made. This is one guess. If I move this direction, we have to stop here. And this actually leads to a lot of knowledge, whatever. I learn a lot from this, because this piece, we got to be at least 32 in size. It's going to come out. And if I don't enter this dead end, well, hold on. Then what color is this? We only have 2 regions, because 32, and this is a 64 set, so it's 2 regions, blue and yellow. Well, now this has to be a 3rd region. So we got to move in. We got to block it, which means blue has to go here. Now yellow's got to keep going because we got to be at least 32. Now what is this one? Can't be blue, because then that would be the shape, and it wouldn't connect to this blue. But if I go here, then blue is this shape and doesn't connect to it, right? So does that tell me whether or not my initial guess, the one I wanted to figure out, is true? Yes or no? It does not. It doesn't tell me whether this wall is not here. That's what I wanted to know. Now I have to try this one. Now this would force this move here. And at this point, I don't have a forced move. It's a guess. I have to make multiple guesses on top of this. So ultimately, all of that work I did, though it had some realizations in it, it did not answer my question. And so if I were to continue with this in any capacity, I'm guessing, right? So let me try the other way around. There is not a wall here. These 2 go together. That means there's a wall here, and this must be yellow. These must go. These must all be yellow. That means this must be blue. And this is going to be a problem, because we have 2 regions that must all connect to each other, and we have a checkerboard pattern. So therefore, I've learned from that, which is good. So yeah, this is what I was trying to get at with, like, how do you start the puzzle? And I don't know why I'm explaining this to you, because I feel like you're going to know this more than I will, but it's sort of like explaining to damn the creators of the game, right? Because this is what you want in a puzzle. You want to be able to find a spot where you try a thing in a couple different ways, right? You're seeing there's something here that I can discover and learn, and then instead of just a guess leading to another guess leading to another guess, you can narrow down by assuming certain things that can't be true. So I can't put these 2 together. because these two dead ends are going to be a problem, right? Because we got these regions. They can't go into here, so we'd have a checkerboard. Therefore, there is a wall, but we already know now that we can't have the corner go this way because we worked out that this doesn't work. Therefore, I have narrowed down to a selection, and now this is no longer a guess if I do this. I hope that makes sense what I'm trying to explain. I'm basically trying to go, and also I can't make a checkerboard, so this has to go here, like so. I'm basically trying to work out how to get to a logical state of solving this puzzle, which I was pretty sure existed when I started, and I was correct. Whereas the puzzle I showed earlier that I hated did not have this. It didn't have any section of the level you could do this in. You had to think way too many steps ahead to where it always felt like you were guessing no matter what you're doing. Now, this could be yellow or blue. Whatever the case, there must be a wall here, right? Yeah, there must be a wall here now. At this point, it's not even like, because I started with let me make a guess, but not really a guess. It's like, let me see if I can work something out. Now I don't need to do any of that stuff. I can just logically determine there isn't a wall here, or there isn't not a wall here. That didn't make any sense. Whatever this is, let me just put these together. This has to be either yellow or blue. If it's yellow, we've got a non-dead end, and if it's a blue, we've got a non-dead end, right? So there must be a wall there. Which means what? Which color is which? If I put blue there, then that's what we have. If I put yellow here, it doesn't give me that much. I just know there's a wall. Then this one also, blue goes this way. This is constricting, but not immediately breaking the puzzle, is it? No, it immediately breaks the puzzle. If I bring blue down, we obviously can't bring this out. So yellow has to be on this side. And now what color is this? It would be blue. No, it doesn't immediately break the puzzle. I'm stupid. It goes like that. And then there has to be yellow here on all sides of this, which is fine. So this is, now at this point I'm guessing. So let's get rid of that for a second. So we could, if blue comes down here, it just constrains blue to these spaces, and now blue is going to have to come out this way, which is fine. Now if yellow is this space, it's going to be this way, which also puts blue in that. Ah, there you go. That's what I wanted to know, right? This, we can't put yellow here because we also have to put it there. That breaks the dead end. Whereas yellow here, we can't put yellow there because it connects, breaking the dead end. So blue goes into that spot. I guess I could also think of it as this is yellow, blue's got to come around because you can't have a checkerboard. That was another way to break it, which was a easier way than what I just went through because I'm an idiot. So now, what do we know? This has to be yellow, which means what? We can still have both of these work. Now we can probably make some inferences about this stuff. I thought this is where I was supposed to start the puzzle for some reason, and it isn't. So if I were to make this yellow, what would happen here? How about if I make this blue? I think that's a better idea. If I make this blue, then all of these have to be yellow. Blue now has to cut through, and it has to come down, because blue can't escape up here, and it also can't escape through here, because if this is blue, that's the end of that. But if it's not blue, then what color is this? Right? It's trapped. Therefore, this must be yellow. This must be blue. Yeah, there's no way for blue to cut, because if blue is this straightaway here, right? Then that's the end of it. I can't take that piece. We're done. It has to escape up this way. If blue isn't the straightaway, it's trapped anyway. Therefore, I got to come out this way. And I can't take this piece because then the dead ends were blocked. I've got to take it this way, and I've got to bring these up. This is going to have to be a blue space, and then we're going to go like that. Cool. And how many do we got? 14, not even close. So yeah, I'm liking this, even though it was a harder start. But there was a starting point that I could go with. Although I would like to have the aha moment and then finish the puzzle quickly from this point on. Now, I suppose if I took this corner, we could learn something, because we'd have to bend it this way. We would just have to, because this has to be blue. We would have to make this blue and then bend like so. And now this might just actually work. I wanted to break the puzzle, because the reason it might work is this now has to be yellow, so it's got to be like that. And we just take blue all the way down around here, and it's fine. So let me pull this back for a second. If I said it was blue, we'd have this go on, which doesn't give me too much. It would mean this is yellow. then this would have to be blue. Don't think that's telling me anything either. So let me back up. Maybe this is not where I look. It could be this. If I took this as yellow, you'd have to have blue there. If I took it as blue, yellow has to now be all of these. That doesn't solve anything yet. Blue's got to come down through here somewhere, and it can't be this piece. Yeah, hold on. If this is blue, how do I get this out? No, it's possible. It's possible if I bring it around like this. See? If it's yellow, then blue's got to do that. So I think either way, blue has to take these pieces. Yeah, I think that's what I'm supposed to do. I should have looked over here. That would have been a smart thing to do by a smart person. Now the question is, who takes that corner? So if it's blue, it can't move down. It would have to move up. This all is so far so good, but that would mean that yellow would have to take these. We would have to have blue like this, and then we'd be broken. So blue can't take this corner. Yellow's got to take the corner, which means blue's got to be here and there. So still not totally sure on the blue going here. If this is yellow, then if this is yellow, oh, we already saw it would be, god damn it, it would be this sort of thing. And that's blue, and so this would have to be yellow, and so we've got that. Can I break it if I do make this blue? If I make this blue now, the yellow's got to come all the way around. This is where it breaks. I can't make a corner out of that. Therefore, it is a yellow, like this. That's got to be blocked. This has to be blue. That means this is blue and that is blue. Those are both big old blue boys. That's blue, which means this is blue. We've got to block like so. And yellow's got to go there. Now, if blue takes the straightaway, it's not the end of the world because I can go through here. But if it doesn't... If yellow takes this, though, then we're stuck, because now we've got this 24 piece. The biggest we can make it is 26, because that's as far. But this isn't going to cut through here. We know it's cutting around this way. So blue's got to take the straightaway, which means it takes that, and now yellow's got to come around this side somewhere. I think we've got this here. Yeah. No. There. There we go. And that's it. There you go. Good puzzle. And a surprisingly good one. Esteemed Artisan, turn every window silver. Thank you. I say surprising not because I expect it to be bad, but I expected it to not be as fun as it was. So, like, kudos to the game devs for doing that. But very small kudos, and it does not make up for the anti-kudos they've been storing up for themselves in the Day of Wrath. Let's move on. Precision 5, so pentominoes, mingle shape. It couldn't possibly be mismatched. There's too many shapes anyway. Compass and polyomino. Lots going on here. So right away, now I got to put a P shape there and a C shape. Are those going to interlock or what? I don't think they can interlock. I think it's got to be something else. Got to have a shape there. If there was 100 total, that means I've got 20 shapes to do. So I don't think... And we can do this kind of thing. Not this with the shape, but like compass can connect to it. We don't have to make everything its own thing. There's no solitude rule. So the polyominoes are just giving me 7 different shapes. So I've definitely got to do more than that. This is an interesting thing. The 4 is actually important because with the precision rule, I need everything to be area 5, which means whatever this is, there's 4 more pieces attached to it. All of them have to be below, so I can easily put a wall around like that. This could move up, be the lowest part of the cross, right? Right, like, oh, here, let me just, I could say it's this part of the cross there, that dot. I could also say it's that part, and that's it. Because if I do anything else, it would have to move leftward, which it's not going to do. So it could be this, or it could be that. That would break the puzzle, so it is in fact here. Can I do it any other way? I just want to make sure, because that felt too easy. Hold on. I can't bring it down because then it goes left. I can't say it's the centerpiece because it will go left. And I can't say it goes left. I can't say it goes right because that breaks. Yeah. I want that to be a lighter green color. Thank you. So that's the only way I can do this. This L shape is now important. Is there any way I don't take the lower spot? Yeah. There's a way. Actually, no, hold on. If I don't do that... What if I take this spot to the right? Right? Like, I can do this sort of thing. No. Here, let me... I'm not super sure what I'm doing there, so let me back out of that for a second. Can this move up? It can move up that far. That's possible. Whatever this is, gotta come out. Can it attach here? It could totally just be that piece. But it could also be this piece. So I don't know for sure what that is yet. Maybe this L is the place, because it looks broken in some way. If I put a wall there, I don't think I can. So let's see if I can fix this. If I put a wall there, I obviously can't do that because now that's orphaned. So if I go like this, obviously it's not going to work. If I go here, I would have to make this shape, which is going to make this break. Because I need a piece here, and it only has one more it can take, so it's out. If I move out, I can't do that, can't do that, can't do this, can't do that. I can't bend in here. Can I bend up? This is a little better, but I think this is still going to break. Because now 1, 2, 3, I need 2 more pieces. 1. This is possible. I don't know why I didn't think of the straight line. That's possible. This is not, but this is. Dang. So there is one possibility. Because I was thinking I was being forced into this. Well, no, because if I move down, actually, I think I break the puzzle. I think that's how you do it, because you can't go that way. If I move down, I have to bend this way, and now this is broken. So I think I do have a wall here, which would require... If I move to the right here, then I can't bend down. I'd have to go like this or that, and now this piece needs to go up into there, which is going to break here. So I think that's that, and this is the shape. And then I have to put in the eye shape. I don't think this W shape can move to the right. So if it moves to the right, suddenly this shape, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we end up with an orphan cell. So no to that. This is possible. Can I move down? If I move down like this, then this is not possible. And I can't move there, we know that much already. So it would be this, and then it would be that shape, which is not possible. So I don't think I can move down. I think I've got to be like this, which would force this move. Let me make sure. That feels too easy. Okay. Which direction do we go? Can't go to the right, because if I go to the right, then it can't take that space, obviously. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's broken. Okay, just wanted to make absolutely sure. I just didn't feel confident with that. So we can't go right. If I go down, then I can't ever... In fact, I can't ever take that spot because I can't take this. Because, like, this shape doesn't work. So I can't take that spot since I can't take both. So that means if I go down... Yeah, I'd have to go this way. It's not going to work. So definitely this direction. Actually, if I blocked... I can't block both directions. Because there's no straightaways in here. There's dead ends, though, so if I blocked, I would have to do that. So this direction, and then not up, but down. Or up. So these 3, for sure. This is possible still. This is possible still. This might not be the place to look. I might need something else. How about this really obvious location that looks like the definite F shape has to go there? Now, is there any way this could still be part of the N? It could still be part of this, like so. If it isn't, if this is a new shape, if it isn't the N, it has to be here. I don't know. I don't know enough there. Gotta block that. If I did this, I mean, this would be fine. This would be fine. If I went up this way... Yeah, I can't go up this way, because now we got another W shape. So, that's as far as I could go here. No, because if I did this, obviously we have a W shape, but if I did this, we have a W shape as well. So I've actually got to block it in like so, here. And then I can't go this way, I've got to go at least over here. So I can make an F shape, I can make an S shape, I can make a Y shape, but something's got to go there. So now this piece is probably a P shape. What can it be? It could also be an F shape. Or an N shape. There's a few options here. That means this guy... Yeah, we have to move down. If we don't move down, then how are we going to get 3 pieces to the left? So we got to move down, then every piece has to be to the left from here. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and it won't be that. 1, 2, 3 is a few options. Whatever goes here has got to touch the 1, because it can't reach that one, right? Because this needs to be here, so it overload no matter what. And the furthest it can go in here, if it goes any further, because this piece can't touch the 1, this piece can't touch the 1, any further was not enough space for it. So we have to go there, and then, yeah, that's the furthest that can go. So we have to take at least 1. It could be like this, or it could be like that, or it could be like this, or... whatever. These 3 got to go together. Which means what touches that piece, this one's got to touch there. So the question is to take these 2 or those 2. If we take those, we have an F piece. So it's not an F, we can't take that. So it's got to take this piece, for sure. Now, can it be a P shape pretty easily? Can it be an N shape pretty easily? If this is an F... Well, if I made this here, we'd have an N shape there, which would force us to do what? I don't know. If I backed it all the way, we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4. That would break the puzzle. We can't have this go all the way over here, because 1, 2, 3, 4, this breaks this piece. This over here also... I think this breaks as well, because this is the only way to do it, and now we need a piece here, and it can't be part of the P. So it goes out this way, and then it can't do that. It has to do that, but then it's touching a C. I think that's broken. So we can't have an F there. Therefore, we have to move over at least once. The question is, do we have a Y? So we have an L piece. Can't do that. We'd have to do this. We'd have to have a V piece, a P, and then how does this piece work out? This piece doesn't work out at all. Is that right? We'd have to do that, because then this piece 1, 2, and it can't be that, so it would be here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and it can't be this P shape, so it would have to go here. P would have to be that. How do you make this C shape? It's the only way I can think of doing it. That. Yeah, there's no way. There's just no way that works. So I think we have to have the S shape here, which means we have the N shape on that one. Which means this has to be a Y shape. I don't know if that's correct, though. This is now an N shape. Means this is... Oh, this could still be an N shape, but, like, probably not. Could be this. Could be that. Could this ever be a P shape going up? No. Could it be this way? No. How is this shape going to function? Well, hold on. If I ever block this in like so... Don't think I'll ever get this to work right. Well, this could work, but I don't know if it is true. This, I think, would break no matter what. No? No, that works too. Okay, there's a couple ways this works out. That's just not what I wanted. I wanted one way to work out. I know these go in. I guess I should ask what this shape can be. So we can take both of these to be an S, we can take these two to be an F, or we can take these two to be an N, which means there's no pieces in common. If I made an N shape, we have an L shape here. This comes out, and then it can't move up, so this would be the shape. This is all fine and dandy. Now if I said, nope, it's not an N, it's an S. Now this shape has to come out somewhere, which means what? We can't do that because we have two P shapes next to each other. We can do this. This doesn't work because now the C shape doesn't work. In fact, any attempt to make this P shape like this doesn't work. This way does, though? Because now you have that. Okay, that also works. Dang it. Okay, what doesn't work? Let me get something that doesn't work. Does the F shape not work? This has to come down. This can't be part of the P shape at all, because that would force us to have none of pieces. That's going to be part of that shape. Two more. It can't be these two. So if I took that one, it would have to, yeah, I take that one. So I take that one, and not that one. That also works. Okay. I don't know the answer over here. This would be so nice if this was it, but I don't know for sure. Can I figure it out from over here? Like, this is definitely not an F piece. If I were to take... If I assume these are different pieces, and I take that spot, I'm going to get an F piece. So I'm going to get that or that. Or cross can't be that either. So if these are different pieces, this has to go up. Because this can't touch that. It's not going to happen. So if I take this, this has to go up, and they're different pieces. Which means I'd have to take that one. I'd have to take both of these. And then what? That's possible. This isn't because it's touching an N, or that. So either one of those two. This N can't go like that. It has to go like this, which means this has to be a P. This is fine, though? Could I ever make them the same piece? Could I make this like so? No, I don't think this 4 could ever be attached to the N, because this is the only way to do it. The other way is this, and it leaves an orphan cell. So this is how the 4 attaches to the N. But now this doesn't have enough spaces over there. So they are different shapes. They got to come out. We can't do this because that's a problem. That's a problem. That's a problem. So yeah, we have that, which means this is the shape. So yeah, we have that. We have a P shape. We know that. We have an N shape. So now what shape can go here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. Not that. 4, 5. F, W, or L shape is fine. An L shape makes this a little tricky. Not that tricky. Although I don't think that works for anything. What shape goes here? It's got to come out. If I took this shape, we don't want to do that. If I did this, though, if I made an L shape, I'd have to have a P shape here. So this isn't an L shape. It at least has to take that piece. So it's either W or an F. F shape also forces a P shape here. So this has to be W, which means what? Well, F shape, but this isn't going to work. W, how do I make this not a P shape? This has come out. if it goes around, we have an N shape. So if it goes over here ever, we can make an F shape. But then this isn't going to work because we got a problem with that. I can make a C shape here. I can make a Y shape. Hold on. Hold on. Can this work? This is not going to work. Because then we got, like, we got problems. Maybe this isn't right? I'm not sure. I'm stupid. What is this? I've got to think what this shape is. We've got to come out. If we take... What if we didn't take that shape? Then we have another shape here. We'd have 1, 2, 3. We'd have two V's. So I think I got to take this. Which means I can't take this. Yeah, but I couldn't take that one. I have to go like that. So I have either a Y or an F. This is a new shape. This can just be that shape, right? Then what's the T? Not that. Not gonna fit. Not that. It's not this. That won't fit. Is it something like that? No, because now I just don't have the ability to fit things in. This feels ish, but now because then this would end up being an N shape. This would end up being a C. Can't be an L. A C shape. This can't. This would have to be here, and then this would have to be a C shape. No. Any other way to make this T? This won't work. This won't work. This would only work if I had that go on, but that's two N's next to each other. Or I could... I could try that and a W shape here. Let's use the color to signify. Oh no, I can't because only two to the... Is there any way I could do that with... No, this is the only way to do that shape. So I'd have to have this here. I feel like I've got to have something wrong here. This won't work. This won't work. This would be lovely, but it's just not enough spaces in there. Going down a shape doesn't, because we have to have W, and then here, what's this and what's that? They have to connect. Unless this is wrong. Is there any other way I can do it? I don't think there's any other way I could do this. Because we got the N shape. These can't be the same, because if they're the same, this was it. The 3 doesn't have anywhere to go. So it's not. Can't do this. Because we've got F shape or cross shape. This has to move up. This is wrong. It has to be that. Yeah, it really is this. Block this. These can't connect. This has to go here, so we've got a W, V shapes. Yeah. Those are together. Feels stuck, so it makes me think something's wrong here, but like this was like the first thing I did, and that was just correct. There was no way out of that. Can't go there. Can I go? Can't do that because that blocks that in. Be nice if that worked out somehow, but no. Can I get the answer if I figured this one out? Like if I said this was our thing. No. The other ways were... Like, there's no way those fit. Like, I can't ever make this work is the problem. When this comes out, that's just not it. I got two of these next to each other. Is this wrong? I don't know if this is wrong. Can I do this T any other way? Can't do that. Can't do that because now this doesn't have, this is orphaned. Can't do this because then that forces that move. Can't do this because that forces this move. Can I do it this way? No. Can't do that. Can't do that. Can't do this? No, because then what do I do here? Can't do that. It's not this, so it has to be like that. What was the other ways? If I did it this way and had a thing, it's like, no, it's like, this is the way this ends up being, and then we have some weird, can't do that anymore. Yeah, normally if things work out really well, that means you're on the right path. So if this somehow is wrong, it's really frustrating. And as I said before with an earlier puzzle, you want it to be that you have your aha moment early and then it slides into place. You don't want to have your aha moment and then get stuck like this. That just ends up with a frustration because now I know I won't feel smart when I solve this. I know it. I know for a fact. I already felt smart when I solved this, and now it is derailed. So if this was wrong somehow, then I really feel stupid. If this is right, I just don't see what this can be. Like, these fit together, but then this ends up being a C shape, which is touching a C shape. This, however, doesn't fit. In fact, any attempt at doing this makes a thing. So no. There's got to be another way to make the T, but I just don't see it. This doesn't work, because I have to make that shape, and it just doesn't fit. This doesn't work because I have the same problem. I have to make that shape. Is there any other way to do this? Was there a way I could make the three sideways? Like this sort of thing? Well, it won't ever work. Yeah, it's either that or that, neither of which work. It's not this. It has to be, it can't be that. Oh, this would break the puzzle for other reasons. It's gotta be that. Can't be this because it would be over there. This would, I would love it if this worked, but it doesn't. It's gotta be this. It's gotta be that. Then what, pray tell, do I do with this? Right? If this is it, then I'm stuck. I can't get an answer on this side. I mean, I guess I can go with it. I can guess and then see what happens, but like, I don't like that. I don't think that's good design, right? If this is how you're supposed to do it. And this has to come out, this has to come out, and now we got to figure out how we could fit in pieces here. We couldn't do that now. We'd have to do something like this. No. 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 Well, this would force a P shape anyway. I mean, having like P shape here, but this is wrong. Huh. Having a Y shape here and a C shape is great, but then this is not a T. Yeah, that's just, I just don't get anything out of that. Like, could mean that that's not the solution, but then the solution is like this sort of thing. And then we have a T shape like this. Then we have to do that, and now we've got these guys coming out and they can't connect to each other. If I connect this here, I'd have a P shape. And then a T shape here would look like what? It would look like this. And then we'd have an N shape here. And we'd have to have a Y shape like this. I just don't see it. And I don't see where I went wrong. And that's just unfortunate. Man, what is it? I started off so good, and now I've got to end the video with a puzzle I just don't like anymore. I don't see it. I'm going to start over. I have to. I have to start over because I do not see where I went wrong. All right, we're going to go through this again. And now I hate the puzzle. Now I hate it. I just hate the puzzle now. Man. See, if this happened once or twice, whatever. But it happens hundreds of times. It happens hundreds of times in the game. That's the trouble when you make games long, is if there's a problem with your game, the problem will happen hundreds of times. If you make your game short and it happens once, most people will excuse it. All right, here are the possible shapes. One doesn't work. That's the centerpiece. If I assume I'm that piece, it's that. Doesn't work. If I assume I'm this piece, doesn't work, right? We already went over. That's the obvious stuff. So either we're here, which means this piece doesn't work because we can't have anything that has to move down, which means we can't have that. So this was the correct move. Great. So then I went on to this piece. Now, if this piece doesn't take either of those, then we are stuck with this move. But if I were to say somehow it takes one of those, if it took this piece, what would happen? Well, it couldn't take that one. So we'd be stuck like this. Then we wouldn't be able to take that. We'd have either this or that. This isn't going to work because now this piece needs to get up into here. And then we need 2 over there. It's going to overload. Therefore, no. Okay, fine. What if it took that lower piece? Well, then it's not going to take that one or that one. So we've got that going on. And this won't work either. Because now we have an N shape that touches an N shape but isn't the N shape. So we have to do this. We have to make this, which means that this N shape, we're stuck with what we had before. Can't have that. Can't have this, because now this doesn't have 3 to the right. So it has to be that. Right? These are different shapes. This can't go here because it'll be an F shape or a cross shape. I can't do anything else up here. I was right the first time. And that is so frustrating to feel like I must have done something wrong. We start over and every step is exactly the same because I was actually doing it all right. I really, really dislike this puzzle now. Like, it's not because it's taking a long time. Who gives a shit if a puzzle takes a long time? If a puzzle takes a long time and every step is really easy, it's an easy puzzle. If a puzzle takes 2 minutes, but that 2 minutes is really a struggle, then it's a hard puzzle. That's just how it goes. But this doesn't work. This is the only way to make this shape. There's no way around this. This has to be this because we can't bend it. So now this has to move in. This piece here can't move to the right. If it moves to the right, we have an N shape, and then we can't make a shape here. Done. Can it move down? If it moves down, can't go that way, can't go that way, and it wouldn't be able to go to the right or up, so it would have to move this direction. So it would have to move that way, and we're stuck. Therefore, it doesn't move down. So is this way done? No, because now that is... Oh, that's possible. Maybe this is it. Maybe that's where the break was. Right? What I can't do is this, right? Maybe... I could do this. I could also do this if I made an N shape. It could be that this solves the puzzle. But again, this really feels like a guess. But I know it's got to be these three. If I made this an N shape, I mean, if I went up here, we'd have a P shape. If I didn't go up there, I think I still had a P shape. This has got to go, and it definitely can't be that. It's touching W. So if I go here, I had an S shape. So an N shape was here. But if I go up, I got N shape there and a P shape here. What's that change? This is tricky because now I got a piece here. This needs to see 3 to the left, but it can easily see it like doing that. So maybe this is where I got it wrong, because I made an assumption here that there's something that'll work over here if I just do all of this differently. This has to come out. This has to come out. And if I don't take this piece, then we end up here. So yeah, it definitely takes that piece. If I take this piece, then, however, it'll be a problem. So it doesn't. This has to be F or Y. Since this is a new piece, it's got to come down. Now, if it's not attached here, then we've got an issue. I think it's got to be attached. I think it's got to be that. If I don't attach, it won't be that, and it won't be this, so it would be this, and then this T has nowhere to go. Yeah. So this would force that. And then this piece, I believe, has to be an N piece, because it can't attach to that one here, because we have a problem. So it's got to come out, not touch that, which means this is that. But then I have to make... No, I don't. I now have options. If I come from this side, I can make this a Y piece like so, and then I can make this, instead of a C piece, I can make this an L piece, right? Like that. Now this C piece, I think, has to go here, which means the P piece is different. The P piece is more like that. I think. I'm not 100% sure on that. Is there any other way I could do this? This is the way it's not going to work. It's certainly not going to be here or there. I think this would be what it is. So it would force this move. It would force this move, which would force that move, right? No, it would force this move, which would force this move, which would force this move. So it does have a thing, but like, man, was this annoying to get. Because like, I made a bad guess here. I just made a bad guess. But the trouble is, I can't see that the guess is bad, and so I have to just redo the whole puzzle. So that was just ended up being very frustrating. I don't think there's like anything necessarily wrong with the puzzle. It's just a very frustrating experience to solve that, and I don't feel smart now. Right? I just don't feel smart, because once I got it was just kind of there. That's just frustrating. That's just too bad. I will say that's bound to happen. Again, if you're making a puzzle game and you're not all going to be winners, you can't have that. There's going to be times people are frustrated, but if you're going to make 1,200 of them, the weight of hundreds of puzzles like this just really ruins the experience. Because I've been here before. Oh well. Not going to let that one get me down. It was just not a great time. That's it. Only did a couple today. That's fine. I'm going to have to just stop anyway. I'm going to have to get on with my life. So, yeah. I've got 17 left. So close. I just want to finish it. I don't know. I just have a bad personality. I know. I need to finish what I start. I can't leave a series unattended. So my options were either finish the game or just delete all my videos from the internet, pretend it never happened. And I probably should have just done that. Probably should have just deleted it and said, this game isn't very good. I'm not going to make a series on it. But I'm kind of too deep in now to do that. Oh well. Disappointing game. Alright, bye.